Hello everyone, welcome to QKnow Design. I'm Janine, and in today's tutorial I show you how to create a fake multiple picker. So you can switch, in this case, between two different picker. So you tap and you switch the icons down below, and also can switch between the options. And I saw this tutorial right here. I really want to know how to fake it. And if you want, he explained it very well. This is my tutorial is the shorter version, but if you want to know more about this, watch his tutorial, of course. He's fine with it that I used it. I'm not sure. I didn't ask him, but I leave you the link down below from the original, and yeah, enjoy this copycat tutorial. Let's start. Okay, let's start with a new project, and we create at first, of course, our LUT. So start with a rectangle, add this to your scene, and for width and height. And now you need the camera texture. If it's a little bit too fast for you, please watch this tutorial up here. We need the patch editor, of course. And then camera texture, we need the LUT texture and also the picker texture. We put this right up here. So these are my textures I need for my project. Yep. Go to make sure there is no compression to it, and later for your LUT, make sure that the sampling is none too. And now just add the fast color LUT to it. Please watch this video, you'll get the link right there, or go to Josh Peckwith's YouTube channel. He is the creator of this. Or this patch. Fast color LUT. Add this to your patch. Add the 4 LUTs to it. Select them all and put this up here. 1. This is what? So this is 0.0, 0.1 like this. And this up right here. Make sure you have 4 copies. Command D. Perfect. And now we need for the rectangle a material, and go to flat, add the texture to a texture patch to it, and we need the camera texture. And this is just with a simple LUT, this example. This one. So this is our first LUT. It's kind of a moonlight thingy I created in Photoshop, pretty easy. You find, if you have Photoshop, you have some lookup tables as assets right there, and then you can add it to your LUT material or texture. Please watch this video to make sure you know what I'm talking about if you never add LUTs before. But this example is also useful for if you add frame or something like that to your rectangle and want to switch between different styles. Okay, this one, but for our example we need 4 different materials we switch later for our switch between for our rectangle, and we call this rectangle just in case, so we find it later, LUT. Okay, so add this one, Command C, Command D 3 times, so you have 3 different materials, and select them all and add this one right here, 2 and 3, and we need now later to switch between the different, so bub and bub, And of course, so later, when with our script, we switch between the different materials for our LUT rectangle. Now we need to make sure that we really, for the script, see the picker. So go to your project, go to Add Properties, go to Make Sure, no, that is fine. We don't use a slider, so that's absolutely fine. And when you don't see under Capabilities the Native UI, so go to Native UI under the plus sign and insert this one and make sure that the picker is able, yeah, and that's it. So this is absolutely normal that this is coming up, this window light right here, because we have no function for the picker. Okay, and that are the main settings, and of course we need the scripts where we want to start with. So this is our script. We need this to script. It's a pulse, I think. And add to script variable, a pulse. We need a tab later. So when we tap the screen, we want to make sure that this pulse send it to our script later. But that's the basic, and now we start with our script. So go to script. We don't need this window right here. So bye. This is the script we start with. We don't need these all. It's a little bit too much, I think. So we start with what we want to require. So we start, we start with the materials we want to require. Blip, blip, blip. And then const textures. These are our icon textures we want to require later. Textures and the patch. So we want later to get access to the tab, right? So patches require. Oops. Whoa. Picker require our native UI. Make sure it's native UI. That is the access to our native UI control where you'll find the picker. And just make sure, Command S for saving it. I use the brackets as editor, so that could be different for you, but make sure you find a nice editor that looks fine. Nothing happened, so it just like what I created is I get access to the scene, access to the materials, the texture, the patches, and of course access to the native UI, and that is just what I created. Now we need a promise all. Promise all. And in this promise all, and we add then function and results. No. Yeah. and close this one. So we start with our materials. Go find first and we search for our material 0. Oops, comma. Make sure it's a comma, not an whatever that is in English. And this is our first result later. So it's a number 0. It's every time I just put this. You don't need to put this in your script. It's just for me that I know, okay, which position is what I want to add to my function. So that is why I put this up here and make it for the other two. So this is 0. Materials ask for 1. And this is a position 1, 2, and 3. We have just 3 different materials we want to get access to. And now go to the texture for our textures for our icons. But in this case, I want to make it a little bit easier for me. So I go to find using pattern and we search for the pattern from our, sorry, I have to look it up, picker 0 underscore. Just go into this one. I just need this one right here. Go back to my script, add this one and add this little star. I don't know how you call this one. And make sure that I don't forget that it's on the position 4. And this one, we have 2 of them, one for the first picker and one for the second picker. Patches dot output dot get pulse, and we search for the screen tab, and this is on our position, sorry, 5, and this one is 6. And we search, of course, we need something, we want to edit this materials, and this is our scene. Search for the root, find first, and we search for the LUT. So materials, all our materials are in there. We put our textures in there. Our patches get pulse and find first. And just in case we save this one and look if there is any trouble. Possible unable promise. Trying to get signal to script with name screen tab. Sorry, I make a big mistake. So this isn't. We just create a new one. I just do so up and call this screen tab. Sorry, some stuff I didn't get. So we don't add the access to this one right here. We need to get access to this one, and this one we call screen tab. So screen tab, right? Again, you will see clean this up. And nothing happens, and that is a good sign. So here is no error or something. Okay, we want to create the texture for our picker and make sure that we switch between the pickers. So at first we need to make sure that we have access to our textures. So we see this is a little bit different than in other tutorials created before. So watch if you want to know how to add a material picker with more than 10 options. Watch this tutorial right here. So let's start with the let textures blank textures. I have to make sure that I spell it right, of course, like said before, and we want to make sure that we push the texture, we add the results in this 4 to it, so 4, and we map this one, texture, and go right here, and we want to return the image texture, texture. So, and that's it. This is what we need for our first one, for our first picker. And this one we need, of course, for the second one. Just copy this one, add this one right here, and 5, and that's it. And now we make sure we see the picker. So picker, configure, we need to select an index. This one would be at first 0, and items, and we want to see the textures, right, and start also with 0. Now we have to make sure that our picker visibility is true. Picker visible true, because by default it's not, it's hidden. And now I think now you see the picker. We created this for both picker, but we don't have the opportunity or it's not possible to switch between them. But you see the first 2 picker from this one and this one, and we can, don't know if you see this, it's a little bit dark, but this circle, if you can't tap them, please make sure you go to these little menu right here and simulate touch, so you see this, and it's working. I can switch between them, there is no problem, not now. I hope it will stay like that. And now we want to make sure that when we tap, we switch between the different picker. The thing is that you simulate the picker, but normally it's just possible to add 1 picker to a project in Spark AI, so it's like you fake the second picker. So this is why you have to make a workaround. It's not possible to create this with a patch, so add 2 different picker and just tap between them. It just get access to 1 picker now. It maybe change in a while, but now you can't. You have to fake it. Okay, we have this right here, but we want to switch between them. So we need to create an picker option counter. So let picker option counter this one is 0, and we later for our options we need where we go add the materials to this. I created right now, so is our picker options, of course, and we leave it now at first blank, we fill it later. Now we need this screen tab right here. And we go to our results. And, oh, whoops, 6. And subscribe. Don't need anything right here. We need now a simple, now we add a simple if else to it. If the picker option, so this one right here, picker option counter, copy this one and add this one right here, equal 0, then make sure the picker option counter is 1. So when I tap and I see it's on the number 0, make sure when I tap it's switched to number 1. Else, if it's else, picker counter equal 0. So if it's not 0, so in this case number 1 on this position, go back to number 0. That we create a picker configuration again. I just add this one right here. So, but in this case, the selected number is 0, but it gives you the access to our picker counter. Just want to make sure. I'm not sure, but I think I have to close these two. Maybe it's a step too much. Try to figure some stuff out. Okay. Nothing. Can switch between these two. If I tap on the screen, it changed to these two. Tap again and so on and so on. So this is fine. So now it's the last step for this tutorial. We want to switch between the materials, so that we created before, so that my LUT right here had access to the material 0. When I go right here or when I start, this is material 1, and when I change, this is material 2, material 3. No, this is where we start. 1, 2, 3, 4. Freeze. Shouldn't start with yellow, it should start with this one, but I don't know why. I couldn't change it. If that. Don't ask me why I really start with this one. It's maybe that it is on the first place and that's why it starts with the yellow one. Interesting. Because I want it different. Okay, I can change this right here. I want to replace this one. Sorry, but I don't know why. This one and replace this one with this. Now it's fine. It's really, it's the order. Didn't notice. I thought it's important the last symbol, but it's the order right now. Please leave me a message if it happened to you too. But replace it. So now we start with our picker options, right? And we add these brackets to it. And we need 2 different options for our picker. We have just 2. And the same for blah, 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 blah. We switch between 2 options, and in this different options there are also 2 different options. In this case we want to make sure that we get access to the material, get access to our materials, and this is our LUT 0. results 0. So this one, and copy this for the first or the second one. So our number 1, 2, and 3. This is a very confusing part, I think. Okay, so we have the access to them, and now we need to make sure that we add the material called 01. So that is the access to the material 0. Just copy this one. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, we have these options right now, but we need also to make sure that we have the LUT. So this is this one right here is results and this 7 bloop, because now we create a function for this all, and this is our picker. We want to select it, access to the selected index, bloop. We want to the monitor, and subscribe it. To a function we call val. Does it make sense? Picker, selected index, monitor, subscribe, function val. Of course, good. And that's the last part. We need the material from our LUT and is equal the picker options. So this one right here, the picker option counter. So one of these two, and then we have in this one the value, new value material, blub. So the LUT material is equal to the picker option of one of the picker option counter, so 0 or 1, and the value also, this one or this one. Save this, go back to your option. Wow. Don't see anything? That's not good. And of course, we need to close this one just to make sure. Clean this up and restart. Switch between these two, so you don't see it right here. You see all the time material 0, but you switch between two different LUT materials. And now it's switched to this one. Oops. And also go back, this one. And that is the simplest way to create multiple LUTs. I think there's so many good examples out there, how you can use this, but this is the first step to understand how to work with it. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. If you have any question about this or any idea what you also want to know how you can use it maybe, please let me know. And of course, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. If you like it, leave a like or a thumbs up in this case. And tell it every friend who wants to know that. So stay inspired, stay creative. Bye bye.